In this video, we're going to be working with page 308, and I'm at step 20, split the worksheet. So I had to go and I had to stop my video yesterday at freeze columns and rows. So now we're starting at 20, and it wants us to go to cell C6, which I am, check right here, and I'm going to do View, Window, which is right here. The group is called Window, and we're going to split it. And the split icon is right here. And now I have a quadrant. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, and it says to take the vertical line, you get it in a double headline or double line like that, and bring it all the way over to A, and it said to the left of A. Okay, so that took off the split that's this way. Now what it wanted us to do, that was step 21. And in the top portion, so I'm going to click up here in the top, and I'm going to scroll down. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to move this down to, so we have a little bit more room that we can see. Okay, so we want to make row 8 the top row here, right here. Okay, so we just did step 22, and then I want to come over to this side and I want to bring up row 8. So now we're looking at the same file with two views. And the first thing it wants to show you is that if you make any changes, like we're going to change this to 108, 200, it changes in both places. So these windows are the same, it's just that you're viewing them a little bit differently. Step number 24 is to undo. So I can do Control Z is the way I do it, or you could have gone over here to Home and undo over here. Okay, now we're able to see the both of these, and so right here we're looking at the add ones, and what we want to do is we want to come to this side over here, step 24, and we want row 18 to be the first row. So now we can look at the addition ones and the less ones, and let's pull this up a little bit, and we've got these side by side, and it's very easy to see. So at some point you might want to be looking at your screens that way. And so step 25, it says let's unsplit this, so I go to View, Window, and take that off, and I've unsplit them. Now let's look at the worksheet in two windows, and I'm going to modify this a little bit as I go along, so that you can see a couple other things that's happening in here. But so we want to go to View, Window, New Window. Okay, and now right here there's the number 2 after my document, and right now we don't really know that we have two windows, so we're going to look at them side by side, and that's this little icon right here. Okay, now I've got them side by side. Now when you're doing this, it might show up and get split a different way and look totally different than what mine is looking. So I'm going to show you, this is where I'm going to kind of veer off of what you could have. So for right now, just watch my screen, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what the steps are 27 through the end, and then I'm going to show you some other things about how you could fix it if yours doesn't quite show up like that. Okay, so right now When I scrolled, notice that I'm scrolling up and down and nothing is happening to this one over here, this screen. Okay, they're independent of each other. So I'm going to come over here to Window, and I'm going to, whoops, I guess maybe I was just not being able to show very much. Let's see. Okay, let's get to the top of each of these documents. Let me go over here. Okay, now we're in the same place. Now when I scroll here, both of these are scrolling. You can see that. So when we look at this, that's called the synchronous scrolling. If I turn this off, then this one works independent of this one over here. Okay. And then again, so that's what synchronous scrolling means, is whether the two windows will scroll with one scroll bar. Okay, and so step 29, we're going to look in J6. Let's see if I got my synchronous on. Let's put it on, and well, they're not moving very well together that way, or whatever. J6 and enter 2500. See how they're changing in both places? Okay, that's just to show you that you can, if you do something in one, it's going to happen in the other too. So that's kind of nice. Undo this, and we're back to 2300. Okay, then it says View Window, and it says click off the side by side, and now I'm back to one window. And then it wants to show on step number 32 how you can do view, zoom, and you can pick a custom size to view it right here. And it makes it look a lot larger. Okay, and you can also use the sliding scale down here to make it bigger and smaller. And right there. So, and then you can click here for 100% to get it back to the normal one. And it says to save your file at this place, but I want to show you just a little bit more about this new window feature. So when we have a new window up here, okay, I'm going to go to View and Window again, and look, I can go to Switch Windows, and I actually have 3 of these open. I have the original one, and the new window 2, and a new window 3. So I'm going to go to whichever one I want. If I did something in one, it's going to happen in all of them. And I also want to show you Arrange All. And there's different ways that you can arrange these when you have more than one window. You can tile them. So let's look and see what it looks to be tiled. Okay, they're just side by side. If you had 4 of them, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, actually, here's 1, 2, and 3 right here. Okay, see the little Excel sign? Excel, Excel. So right now they're tiled, and if I wanted to arrange them horizontal, let's take a look at that. Now I have them 1, 2, 3. And then I go and I lose my ribbon up here. Okay, so I need a new window here. I'm just going to have 2 windows now. And I'm going to do View, Arrange All. Let's look at them vertical. That means side by side. This is the way that I would most likely use them. And then arrange all, cascade. And I have one right under another. And I can move them. If you grab up in this blue area, you can move the windows. You can select the windows just by grabbing up there. And I don't know if we've ever talked about this. It used to be in older versions, there used to be a little icon. I think it was over here, but now it's this down arrow where you can show your tabs only, or your whole ribbon, or hide the quick access bar. And so there's some different things about the ribbon. Okay, so that kind of finishes up D1, and I'm going to go on to D2. So right now I'm going to look over here, and I got number 2. I'm going to close number 2, and I'm going to make this open, and we have this. And now we're going to work a little bit with printing and some real easy stuff, I think, to understand. Okay, so did you see my formula bar was big, and I didn't want it like that, so I made it smaller. Okay, so we're on step number 2. We're going to click File, Print, and at this point we get this menu right here, and we have all of these different parts to it. We have the printer settings, and then we have page settings here, and the one we want to look at are the margins, which are right here. So before I change them, notice what the margins look like on here, and then I'm going to change them to narrow and see how they changed. Now the margins are this space at the top and bottom of your paper, on the edges of your paper. So let's do narrow, and then let's do wide. Okay, and see, it kind of put some other stuff on the other page when I picked wide. Okay, and then what you're supposed to do is, in setting number 3, is to pick narrow. And now we have narrow margins, and I'm going to click back. And we are going to look at page layout, and we can change our page orientation here. First of all, here's margins again. You could change your margins here. Set custom margins if you want. This margins right here is the same as what we were looking at in the print menu. Orientation, here we want to look at this in landscape. Okay, and we're going to go to File. Excuse me. File, Print, and here's our orientation, and now our paper is changed to be landscape. So again, I'm going to click here. Here's portrait. Here's landscape. And again, here's your margins. So in page layout or in print, you can change these settings. That makes it really handy. And on step number 6, it says let's choose page size. So it wants me to go back out here and do this out this side area. So I'm in page layout, page setup, choose page size right here. We're on a letter size paper, and it just says review the options. So we have letter, legal, which is long, 8.5 by 14, so it's 3 inches bigger than that. You see this in law offices sometimes. And envelopes, if you wanted to do an envelope, a business envelope, here's where you would get that piece of paper right there. Okay, and so it wants us to just look at that and then go back over to margins and change them back to normal, and change our orientation to portrait. Okay, now there's something. Okay, I'm stopping right here from the directions, and there's, when you look at view, you can look at the normal view, page break view. So see, we have this little line right here that's breaking the page incorrectly. So let's just go back to normal. I just wanted to show you that you can see where your pages are actually breaking. Or you could go to File, Print, and you can see how your pages are breaking here. Down here there's a little thing for going from page 1 to 2, a navigation button. Okay, so let me go back. I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so now we're on step 8, and we're supposed to highlight A1 to J16, A1 down to, oops, I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to go A1 to J16. So this is the top part of this, and what we're going to do is we just want to print this part of our document. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting a certain area of the document to print. So I highlighted this, and then it wants me to go to page layout, page setup, print area right here, and set print area. Okay, now remember before when we were looking at our document we saw the whole document. So now I'm going to go to File, Print, and see it's just showing a certain part of this. It's just the cash receipt data. And we still have 2 pages here. You would not want it to print like this. You have to be very mindful of how your document is printing. But we have a tool that will help us very easily, and it is called scaling right here. Right now it's set on no scaling, and we want to fit all columns on one page. So we have that extra column that's going on the other page. So let's click Fit All Columns, and it made it smaller and it fit it on that page. Okay, let's look at this again. You can also fit all rows on one page. So for example, if you have 3 or 4 rows going on in the next page, click this and it will fit them. Or else you can fit the whole sheet on one page. And in this instance, fitting it on one page and fitting the columns in are pretty much the same thing. So that's a feature that is really important to know about. This here, and let me show you again the page layout, and then when we want to in view, we want to look at page break view. And now see how this is on the right side of this instead of over here. But you can control your page breaks by sliding these. Okay, let me go home. Oops, and I want to go back to normal view. Okay, now we are on set Developing Your Skills D3, and I'm going to stop the video right here, and then I'll start D3 with a new video.